What is going on, my mixed martial artists? We are back on August 3rd, Monday. Sorry for the slight delay in the video. Had some business to attend to in relation to the promotion that I work with this weekend. Had some meetings, some planning for our event on August 29th. So slight delay, but we are here morning of August 3rd. Like I said, brand new week. Coming off of UFC Serbia, OKTAGON 92, PFL New York. A lot of stuff happened this weekend. A lot of big action. We're going to jump in, break down all of it. Off the top, as always, if you guys wouldn't mind dropping a like, dropping a subscribe, helps me out a ton. Allows me to keep talking about these fights and hopefully build something with this channel here. But yeah, now that that's out of the way, we can jump right in. Off the top, we had UFC Serbia this past weekend. I was very excited about this card going in. Obviously, a lot of finishes. I think set the UFC modern record for most finishes in a card, as well as most first round finishes. Definitely a mixed bag in terms of talent on this card. A lot of fighters who probably aren't UFC level. A lot of guys who had some mismatches, you know, some kind of setup fights. But all in all, I think the card was a very fun watch. I had a good time watching it. Morning, hinged right to OKTAGON, kind of watching it at the same time. It's a great Saturday of fights. I guess we'll talk the main event. Uros Medic defeats Daniel Rodriguez at 30 seconds of round number 1 by TKO. I mean, couldn't have gone any better. Uros Medic sent D-Rod from prison to the hospital with that one. Definitely, that was the big question mark for me coming in. Is like, yeah, okay, it's a cool story. You know, D-Rod, he got out of prison. He was there for a while. He's back. But like, kind of, I mean, not too similar, but like kind of like the Conor McGregor situation. It's like, taking time off fighting really doesn't help you become a better fighter. Like, even if you're dealing with tough circumstances or you know, things that challenge you, it's not the same as getting in the cage and actually fighting. So I think that was definitely a big factor coming in. A little bit of ring rust and just the shit that he's been through over the last, you know, 9 months to a year has been a little crazy on him. So, you know, props to him for getting back in the cage for sure. But Medic, on the other hand, has been an absolute heater, riding a 3-fight knockout win streak coming into this. His last loss coming in 30 seconds as well to Punahele Soriano, his welterweight debut. But yeah, I mean, Serbia needed this one. I think they had lost 4 consecutive fights as countrymen going into this fight. So Uros Medic definitely got the crowd back and gave him something to go home happy with. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say about this fight. D-Rod overextended on a jab, counter over the top, couple more punches, beautiful knee in the sequence to combo, and Medic put him out of there. So, yeah, in terms of what I would like to see next for these guys, I would love to see Medic fight Carlos Prates. Maybe that's 2 fights down the road, but that would be a fucking banger. Somebody's going to sleep in the first round. That's all I'm saying. But more realistically, and kind of the fight that everybody's kind of calling for is Medic versus Leon Edwards. I know he said in an interview after his fight, if Leon's not going to respond, then he can move on. There's other fights to be made. So we'll see about that, but yeah, I would love to see him versus Prates. That would be an absolute banger. And in terms of D-Rod, I mean, obviously back in the cage, back active. We'll see how much time he takes off from this. I think he's kind of should be relegated to the Unk matchup kind of role. I'd love to see him versus Wonderboy. I think him versus Stephen Thompson would be a great fight. I'll never stop asking for Wonderboy versus Muslim Salikov. You know, Karate Prince versus the King of Kung Fu. I mean, it couldn't be any better, but they, for some reason, refused to make that fight. So we will have to wait or just wait until they both retire. But co-main event, this was a sad one. Jan Blachowicz, my Polish prince, got knocked out round number 1 by Navajo Sterling. Sterling took this fight on short notice just about 2 weeks ago when Guskov got moved to the main event of UFC Abu Dhabi versus Ankalaev. And man, I've been down on Sterling in the past. You know, I think he is a little too cautious sometimes. You know, doesn't always push his advantages. But I mean, fuck, he blew me away in this fight. And, you know, Jan was on the front foot early, trying to land the calf kicks, trying to get him on the back, and then really, 2-3 minutes into the fight, Sterling just landed a beautiful right hand, knocked Jan down, stumbled across the cage, got on top. Landed one of the nastiest elbows I've seen, split Jan open for probably like almost like an inch on his face or 2 inches on his face. Excuse me. And yeah, finished him with ground and pound. Pretty clinical, dominant performance. Navajo Sterling is absolutely a contender in this division, considering how shallow light heavyweight is. It's just really nice to have another young, young top prospect in the division. And at the end of the day, I think he can get the kind of fast track into the title picture, especially with Olberg being out for a year. So that's his teammate, which obviously makes things a little complicated. They're probably not going to fight each other. But yeah, I would love to see him face Paulo Costa. I know Paulo Costa has kind of been on some contract dispute stuff, but I mean, fuck. Make it a 5-rounder, put it as a main event for a fight night or a co-main, for a pay-per-view or, feature bout, whatever. I just love to see kind of those guys, especially go over 5 rounds because Costa has that experience. And I think Sterling's ready for like a dangerous test like that. Obviously, Jan, a lot of experience, but definitely at the tail end of his career. I think facing a guy who's, on a hot streak right now, coming off some wins, I think would be really good for both of them. And in terms of Jan, unfortunately, my brother, I think it's time to hang him up. He turns 44 in October. He's been through, countless wars. He's won the title, lost the belt. Come back and won. He's he's literally had the entire experience you could have as a UFC and MMA fighter. So yeah, man, you're a legend. People will always love you in Europe, in the US, and Poland especially. So yeah, I just wish him the best and hope that we don't really have to see him take any more damage, unfortunately. Featured bout of the night. This one was... Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Featured bout of the night. This fight fucking stunk. Which I saw a lot of betting lines and a lot of people being like, oh, Rakic by KO, it's a lock, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, if Tyrell couldn't knock Tabura out at heavyweight as a natural heavyweight, then there's no way Rakic is doing it. That guy's not had a finish since, Jimmy Manua in 2016 or something like that. It's been ages since this guy has ever finished anybody. And for some reason, Tybura sucks. He's plotting. His little running kicks after his combos are so funny. He'll be chasing somebody and it looks like he's trying to kick a kid in the butt or something. He's a funny fighter. Shout out to my boy Bedtime MMA. But as he likes to say, there's a lot of jiggling at range in this fight until Rakic decided to close the distance, hold him against the fence for the last round, and secure the unanimous decision victory. I'm not clamoring to see either of these guys fight anytime soon, but I would like to see Rakic, fuck it. Put him against Johnny Walker. Another light heavyweight versus light heavyweight, moving up to heavyweight fight. I think Johnny Walker's chinny enough and goofy enough that he can actually bring an exciting fight out of Rakic. And for Tabura, man, I don't know. You could hang him up. He's 41. He's old, or turning 41 soon. But I think he probably keeps fighting for a couple more fights. So I say give him Jovan Leka. Jovan Leka. He fought earlier in the night. I'll just talk about his fight in a little bit against Alexander Popek. But yeah, Leka is 15-2. He's young. He's explosive. Give him a chance into the rankings. And Tabura is just collected a paycheck at this point. He's got a really good contract. I know that he's making over $100,000 a fight. So why give that up when you're not taking damage? You're just kind of losing in boring fashion. So next down the fight, a lot of people are mad about this one. And in my video, I did pick Vlasto Chepo to win, but I will be completely honest, after looking at some more tape, after my video talking to some people, I completely flipped my pick. I ended up betting on Gilbert Urbina and made a lot of money doing so because Vlasto, as much as I love the guy, Octagon veteran, put on some bangers for Octagon, the dude has just zero footwork, zero defensive awareness, zero defensive purpose at all. And he just fucking marched his way in, got countered, and fucking finished, kind of like a lot of people who are smart about the sport predicted. And yeah, man, it was ugly. Gilbert Urbina is not a UFC caliber fighter, but obviously neither is Vlasto Chepo. I think the big thing that some people have alluded to, but is kind of the not talked about thing is Vlasto was very obviously on steroids when he was fighting for Octagon. He was juicing, and there's nothing wrong with that. Look, in Europe, they don't care. Everybody's juicing. I don't blame him. If your fucking opponent's on steroids, then you're gonna be on steroids too. You're giving up an advantage. So it is what it is. But we saw how soft he looked in the post or in the weigh-ins, and I think that was a big factor too. He just didn't have the power and explosiveness he was used to. But Gilbert Urbina, man, saves his job. I'd like to see him fight. Sorry. Yeah, I'd like to see him fight Montas Kontratavicius, the Lithuanian lad who won in the Contender Series. He beat Antonio Trocoli in London last time out. Long, rangy striker. I think it'd be a fun matchup, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that one. And for Chepo, fucking, I don't know, book a fight with Zach Reese. Let's see if he can actually like hurt somebody who is a known chinny boy against, you know, mediocre competition. And yeah, we'll see what happens there. But we had Robert Valentin versus Dusko Todorovic next. Another fight that probably shouldn't have been on the main card. I would have way rather have seen like Gugnon versus Janicic up here instead of this fight, but Ultimate Fighter veteran against a Serb, you know, I understand the point. Robert Valentin, as he said in the pre-fight, he just out-athleticed him. I mean, Dusko really had nothing for him. He had some fun scrambles, but he got reversed a couple times, and Valentin ended up jumping on the ghillie and got it. Valentin noted Nazi. He brought in Valentin in the post-fight to be his or he brought in Dusko, excuse me, to be his translator. It was just weird scenes. I don't think Valentin's ever going to amount to much in the UFC. Maybe, you know, a couple losses, gets a win back, keeps his job. But I think they're going to book him against somebody like Ryan Gondra next. Big, you know, scary prospect because Valentin now with a couple wins is a decent name potentially to have on the name or, you know, ledger. But I think he's going to face a tough striker, probably something like Ryan Gondra next. And for I'm sorry, I'm getting mixed up on my notes. Oh yeah, and Dusko, see ya, man. I think Dusko's gonna get cut. He's probably gonna go to FNC next, something like that. Yeah, I don't know. He's had a rough go. I think 3-7 in the UFC now, so nothing to write home about. Noah Gugnon versus Milos Janicic. This fight was, I expected it to go a while. I expected a really good matchup, but literally the first calf kick that Gugnon threw looked like it completely shut down the leg of Janicic. I've seen some reports about he threw a high kick and maybe broke his foot on Gugnon's guard or something, but I think it was that first calf kick that just shut down the nerve. I mean, you saw it's the classic, like Michael Chandler versus Brent Primus, you know, goes to step, foot just can't, it's completely dead foot, lands on the toes, stumbles. Gugnon kicked him in the other calf. Exact same thing happened. You know, this guy's been fighting dirty boxing. Maybe his legs are a little less conditioned. Who knows? Goes to the ground. Gugnon starts doing work, gets the sub. Bada bing, bada boom. Really, really good performance by the Frenchman. And for Janicic, I mean, just really disappointing performance. I mean, it's not even like it was really his fault. He just literally could not even get going. First kick of the fight, I mean, he was done. So, you know, definitely Gugnon, really interesting prospect. A lot of, I know I kind of poo-pooed on him before the fight, but I think he's shown a lot of growth since the fights that I've seen him in. And yeah, I'm really excited for him, man. I think he's going to be a good prospect, good striker, good grappling, well-rounded. I'd like to see him face somebody like Francis Marshall next. I think Francis Marshall, you know, a little bit of experience, good wrestler, well-rounded, but I think that'd be a really good fight, good test for each other's skills. And in terms of Janicic, I don't know, man. Maybe a fun striking matchup. I actually forgot to write this one down, so let's do a little live matchmaking for you guys. Lightweights. Let's get him in there against somebody like I don't know. I know Trevor Peake just got booked. What about Charlie Campbell? Janicic versus Charlie Campbell. I like that one. Cannibal versus the Cobra. But yeah, again, I think he's going to have some success, but that was a rough debut for him. Next up, we had, excuse me, I did write it down. I had him fighting Dom Marfan. That would be a really fun one as well. Dom Marfan, really elite in the clinch, good elbows. He obviously got heel hooked by Cody Steele, but he's already been on social media saying he's ready to fight again. I think that'd be a fascinating matchup, the inside striking and boxing of Janicic taking on the elbows and clinch game of Dom Marfan. Next down the card, we had Tafik Musayev knocking out Ludovic Klein in the second round. I know this was a big upset for a lot of people as well. But, dude, those who know, man, Musayev has been a killer. He was in Ryzen, he was a killer. Bellator, he was a killer. He's had some great fights in the UFC. I mean, again, I think this card was like the just how good is Miktabek Oralby, because, I mean, he beat Uros Medic by submission. He beat Tafik Musayev by submission. He did lose to Rebecki, who did win on this card, but yeah, man, Mick to Bikoral really, really fucking good. But yeah, anyways, back to this fight. Klein just couldn't get anything going, man. Masayev on the back foot was just doing really nice counter striking, really nice movement. He's got a lot of power, and he just caught him with a counter. Big punches, followed up on the ground, got the TKO. I think Tafik Masayev is a little bit older right now, but I think he deserves a shot in the rankings, to be honest. I'd love to see him fight, maybe, I don't know, a Drew Dober, but preferably I think him versus Tom Nolan would be a banger. Tom Nolan's size and striking and his gameness would feed really well into Masayev's counter striking and just, kind of violent nature as a fighter. So I'd like to see Masayev versus Tom Nolan. And then for Klein, I don't know, man. He's got a lot of wins in the UFC, but he's kind of fallen short a few critical times in his career. So I'd say give him to Nazim Sadykhov, kind of similar type fighter, good striker, good grappler, but definitely has gotten caught a couple times, has some wins, but I think that'd be a really fun matchup. Next up, we had Michael PQD Oliveira knocking out Oban Elliott. This is another fight I got wrong. I thought Oban would do a little bit better here, but man, Oliveira is a fucking killer. I talked about it a little bit. I've watched him since his LFA days. He's been, elite for a long time. His jab is literally one of the best I've ever seen. Like, it's so sharp, so snappy, so long. And he just, he's elite, man. I think he's really, really going to go far in the UFC. That being said, I think they're going to give him a little bit of a slow build. I think he's only 27 or 28 right now, so he's got plenty of time. He's 10-0, or 11-0 now. And I think they're going to give him somebody like Eric Nolan next. Eric Nolan's had some good fights against some tough prospects, but it's pretty clear with the way they're managing his career that he's kind of going to just keep facing killers. And I think Oliveira's that type of fight that they would give to Eric Nolan. So we'll see him maybe get another highlight finish. And then Oban Elliott, I think they're going to cut him, unfortunately. He drops to 3-3 in the promotion with 2 finished losses in a row. And they don't treat Welsh fighters very nice. I mentioned that before. He was kind of fighting for his job in this one. And, they cut Corey McKenna pretty quickly. Jack Shore had to retire. They had Jack Marshman around for a while, but, that's old. That's a throwback. So, yeah, I think he's going to probably sign with the PFL or Cage Warriors again, unfortunately. But next up, we had Bogdan Grad versus Dennis Bazooka. This one was weird. A lot of people were kind of, honestly, and I don't think it was a tap. He had the guillotine, or he had an arm triangle. Bazooka was going to push the leg off so that he could do the grip defense to try to crunch down into the head and arm. Looked like he was tapping. Ref called it. I don't think it would have changed the result of the fight, to be completely honest, but you always hate to see a guy completely conscious protesting as soon as the subs let go. That drops Bazooka to 0-4 in the UFC, finished twice in a row. I think he's probably going to be hitting free agency pretty soon here as well. I don't think Muradov Aljo can save his job anymore. And then for Bogdan Grad, he's facing tough competition, guys like Luke Riley in the UFC. This is a good get-back win for him. I think the hairstyle and the mustache was the key factor here in him getting some confidence back. But I would love to see him against somebody like Jordan Levitt. Again, good grappler, where Bogdan Grad kind of, thrives as well. But at the same time, I think Grad might have a slight striking advantage there. And it would be really interesting to see how those styles match up, with Levitt being so good at jiu-jitsu and so good on the ground. So potentially interesting fight there. We had Mateusz Rąbecki versus Kyle Prepolek. Prepolek, another one of those guys, just kind of, signed short notice back after a rough UFC run. He's now 0-3 on his second run with finished losses to Benoit Saint-Denis, Drew Dober, and now Mateusz Rąbecki. It's probably curtains for his UFC career. Canadians have had a rough go as of late, and they don't really put him in good spots to succeed either. And that's kind of what happened here. But, Rąbecki got the takedown immediately, and just Prepolek couldn't handle it. Worked to the fence. Rąbecki kind of trapped the leg with a nice little kind of hook into a leg lace, and just laid on the ground and pound from there. And Prepolek had no choice but to, or the ref had no choice but to stop the fight. So Rąbecki gets back in the win column. This guy, he doesn't have the greatest UFC record. I think that moves him to like 2-5 or 3-5. but always puts on exciting fights, and he'll keep him around as long as he keeps putting on bangers. I'd like to see him fight Matt Frevola. Matt Frevola coming off a couple losses, but obviously has some really exciting, potential in his fights as well. Good, well-rounded fighter, and obviously Rebetsky will always face a size disadvantage, but Frevola is not one of those like insanely massive lightweights, like as if he was fighting like Tom Nolan or something. So it'd be a fun one. And Prepelec, I think he's going to get cut. If he wants to keep fighting, there will always be a place for him in Canada, whether that's Unified MMA, BFL, maybe in Samurai. There's some good options up there, but unfortunately, I think that's curtains for his UFC run. Moving into the first few fights of the night, we had Nina Milosevic versus Haley Cowan. I was really excited about Milosevic coming in, and she really kind of delivered on that hype, man. Second round TKO, punches to the body against Cowan. Really just masterful performance. She walked her down, using her right hand, going up top, going low, using her knees. I mean, elbows up close, hooks. It was a really masterful performance. Renato Subotic, her coach, obviously really well-known MMA coach, he did a great job with the preparation for this camp. They were working that body shot backstage before. She got a nice bonus for this fight. And yeah, I think she's like finally a really exciting women's bantamweight prospect to keep an eye on in the division. I'd like to see her face somebody like Melissa Mullins next. Melissa Mullins, 2-3 in the UFC, coming off a loss, but she's got a little, some decent skill. And I think that she could give Stinky. I think she could give Milosevic a good fight, but I think Milosevic probably comes out with the win in that one as well and keeps her building her hype. And for Haley Cowan, I think as well, probably curtains for her UFC career. Puts her at, I believe, 0-4 now with the promotion, a 7-6 overall record. So, yeah, unfortunate, but I think she's gonna probably go back to maybe coach gymnastics, maybe coach some MMA, who knows? But also, she is the type of fighter, if she didn't want to keep fighting, she could sign with the PFL or somebody. I'm sure they would have her for a few fights. They had Montana De La Rosa fighting this last weekend, so if they have her, they'd take Haley Cowan. And then, yeah, moving on, we had Jovan Leka. I kind of mentioned this fight already, taking on Alexander Popek. First round TKO, kick to the body from Leka. I mean, just a good clinical performance. He had a 47.5-pound weight advantage, which is obviously huge. Popek taking this fight on short notice, up a weight class. Just looked out of his depth. Too big. Couldn't really get he got a couple good calf kicks going early, but really, he took this fight knowing that he would now be in the UFC and he can fight his natural weight class moving forward. Leka, I'd like to see him fight Tabura. Popek, yeah, again, he's going to be moving back down to light heavyweight. It was a body kick TKO, so he didn't get slapped, didn't take any real damage. He posted a video afterwards talking about it, and he was feeling good and positive about the fight. So yeah, let's get him versus somebody else. Let's get him versus Luke Fernandez. That's a good matchup. I think I gave Luke Fernandez for another fighter last week, but yeah, man, I don't know. I think Popek could have some fun fights in the UFC, especially at light heavyweight. So we'll see what they cook up for him moving forward. But first fight of the night, we had Marina Spasic taking on Stephanie Luciano. I called this fight pretty perfectly. Marina Spasic, blue belt in jiu-jitsu, had never faced any sort of grappling in her career. Looked game on the feet, landed some good shots, got countered a few times, got a little wobbled, and then Stephanie took her down, took the back, choked her out. And that was that. Good performance for Stephanie Luciano. I mean, she got a couple finishes in a row now, real good on the ground. I'd like to see her take on, Alice Ardeline next. Ardeline 3-1 in the UFC somehow, which is crazy to me. But I think that'd be a good fight, two girls kind of on the way up. And then Spasic, she got some room to grow. I don't think she's done by any means, but if you want to build any momentum, let's give her a matchup like Shauna Bannon or Pooja Tomar, one of those fights, so she can really work her striking, maybe work out some of those issues on the ground against a lesser opponent and see where that takes her. But yeah, all in all, pretty good card. I enjoyed it. Got some good performances from some fighters I like. Had some losses for some fighters I do like as well, but that's the game of watching MMA. What the fuck is going on? Okay. Can't see me. All right. Also this weekend we had Octagon 92. This was a sad one for me. Pretty much all my favorite guys lost. Lucia Szabova, she won. She beat Lucy Pudilova. One of the best women's fights I've ever seen in the main event. 5-round decision. I mean, just a real war from both ladies. Really good fight. I mean, Szabova remains undefeated, remains the double champ, defending her belt at bantamweight. I mean, she's outside of Dakota Dacheva, she's without a doubt the best female fighter outside the UFC, bar none. So that was really impressive. Co-main event, my boy Will Fleury knocked out by Makmud Muradov in the second round. This one hits extra home for me because Makmud Muradov has now knocked out two of my favorite people in combat sports, Trevor Smith, my coach, and Will Fleury, one of my just favorite fighters and people. So yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, Will dropped him at the end of round one, and then Muradov came out round two, dropped Will. I think it was a little bit of an early stoppage. Will was, got dropped, grabbed him up. Muradov missed a ground and pound shot, but I get it at the same time. He got dropped bad. Yeah, it was a tough one, man. Also down the card, my boy David Zavada, the one who I interviewed, unfortunately came up short in his fight. Really good performance by David Kozma, using his wrestling, grinding it out to a decision, staying safe. All in all, the card was overall pretty good. Pulling up the results here so I can fully talk about the other fights real quick. 1 second. Oh yeah, Thomas Modorok versus Efeni Nafuka was a pretty good fight. Modorok got the decision there, just dealing with the wrestling, landing some damage. Jakub Batfalski looked fantastic against Wojtek Cole. I think he definitely let up in the third round a little bit, so I'd like to see that killer instinct, remain through. Daniel Schwinn defeated David Hosek. Schwinn getting back in the win column after a couple finish losses. This was really exciting fight. The Israeli cop Rafael Aronov beat Miroslav Broz. Firas Daoud beat the piss out of Jakub Tichota. I mean, cut him open bad. Lots of damage. Really looked good in that one. Roman Paulus secured the decision against Harun Kurt. That was a good fight. And then in the opening fight of the night, Ivan Klevitz hit just an incredible spinning back hit KO to the dome of his opponent, Kevin Enns, and won that one by knockout. So yeah, all in all, good card. Octagon is going to be on a little break until September 12th. So they usually do their summer break and get some, stuff going for the fall and winter scheduled. But good event. Always love Octagon. And the other event that we had this weekend was PFL New York. Obviously, the big story out of that one, Usman Nurmagomedov defending his lightweight title, knocking out Archie Colgan with a question mark kick and follow-up shots in the very first round, proving he is one of the best fighters in the world, UFC or non-UFC. A lot of people talking a lot of different stuff. I hear a lot of comparisons of and it's interesting. I heard this with Saladin Parnasse as well. A lot of people are like, you can't say he's the best. People said Patchy Mix was this good and he sucked. And I'm like, if you have any sort of brain, please let me know in the comments and tell me if this is hard to see. Go back and watch Patchy Mix's Bellator fights. I mean, he's size-mogging most of the guys he faced. And even then, it was not a lot of really impressive finishes. His knee over Rafael Stotts was impressive, and he has some good submissions, like his Magomed Karamov win. But at the end of the day, you could tell Patchy Mix had some pretty serious holes. You look at a guy like Usman, he's so complete, such a good wrestler, such a good striker. His movement, his footwork, the way he draws guys onto his strikes. I mean, he has been beating very legitimate competition. I mean, Archie Colgan was undefeated going into this, primary training partner of Justin Gaethje, Division I All-American wrestler. I mean, you can't really get much better than that. I mean, you can, but you get what I'm saying, outside the UFC. And yeah, I mean, Jake Paul kind of made a fool of himself in the cage after this. There was a lot of stuff going on with the MVP PFL merger that made it kind of awkward, but I think Usman signs with the UFC next. You saw Dana White after the Serbia press conference smiling like a fucking dick bag. So I think Usman signs the UFC. I think he probably gets a top 5 opponent in his debut, maybe top 8. Yeah, again, it was just super impressive, man. Stays undefeated at 22-0. In the In the co-main event, we saw a really impressive performance from Dakota Dacheva defeating Denise Kjold. A lot of people were criticizing this one, saying she didn't get the finish. It's a minus 10,000 favorite. The odds are set based on the books, you know, receiving money on a fighter. She didn't open that big, but at the same time, I talk about this all the time, and I'm finally going to get that UFC antitrust video out this week, but you can't prove yourself as a top-ranked fighter outside the UFC when the UFC controls 90% of the top-ranked fighters. You have to give up your rights to sign with the UFC, give up potential money, all that stuff, or you have to fight lower competition because there's just not those people available because they signed with the UFC. So it's like, it's a tough paradox to be in, and Dakota Dacheva is kind of the prime example of that. I mean, 16-0, incredible fighter. There's nobody that can touch her outside the UFC, but she's a star for the PFL. She's making a ton of money. She won over $1 million for her tournaments she's won. I mean, she's set. So again, I think she stays in the PFL for a couple more fights, beats a couple more people who are definitely below her level, and then probably signs the UFC eventually. But you never know, man. With this MVP merger, if she gets on Netflix, she could have some serious star power. So impressive performance, nonetheless. But next down the card, we had Mustafa Diakate. This was a really impressive performance to me. He knocked out Darrell Walker in the first round. Darrell Walker was a replacement, so we kind of saw that one coming. But Diakate, man, he has such an incredible fan base. Obviously, hailing from Senegal, he's partially deaf. He walks out in the traditional Senegalese royalty apparel. He's got the drummers. I mean, every time he fought for Ares FC in France, he had such a contingent of fans. He's really special. I mean, his video with Khabib had like 200,000, views or likes, excuse me. His celebration afterwards had, 500,000 views. So this guy has some serious potential to do some big things with the PFL, both as a fighter and just as a kind of centerpiece for their future promotion. Excuse me, I skipped the fight. Nurmagomedov versus Angel Alvarez. Nurmagomedov, super impressive. Another guy from the Khabib camp, but I mean, he's just dangerous. His kicks, his punches, his wrestling game. I mean, it's really, he's kind of the next up out of that camp, I think, that's really going to burst onto the scene. Also down the card, we had Lizardo Deiron win a somewhat controversial split decision against Rafian Stotts. It was a fine fight. Sean Gauci defeated Alan Bagoso using his grappling and forward pressure. Omar Al-Defrari beat Jonathan Piersma in a pretty close fight. Piersma just couldn't get his grappling going. Defrari did a lot more damage. Tatiana Pasternikova defeated Montana De La Rosa by unanimous decision. And then to kick off the night, as I mentioned in the preview, Levon Kabalayev won by knockout in the first round. Really impressive. Very dangerous fighter there out of Serra Longo. So that was this weekend's recap of the action. This next week's a little bit of a down week. We have UFC at the Apex, Mateusz Gamrot versus Quillan Salkill. Decent main event, but the rest of the card is quite literally one of the worst cards I've ever seen in my life. Like, just absolute Apex slop. So I'll probably do something for that card a little later in the week, but I'm probably going to try to focus on some other stuff, talk about the antitrust lawsuit stuff. Maybe I want to do an article talking about Saladin Parnasse as well. So definitely some stuff in the works. Keep an eye out for that. And in the meantime, subscribe, like, check me out on Instagram. Got some good stuff going on there. And once again, appreciate all you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.